All right. Everybody good?
Yep.
All right.
Ready.
Welcome to the Black Delegates Podcast. Today's date is January the 29th, 2019. This is episode 47.
47.
What's up, fellas?
It's my old baseball number.
Word.
Yep.
Man, when did you play baseball? You ain't play baseball in high school, did you?
Nah, that was way back in the day. That was elementary school.
Oh, okay. All right.
The
So,
Black Nolan Ryan.
yeah, that's who everybody wanted to be back then.
Nah, he was the white Ozzie Smith back then.
Ozzie White enough
Doing
himself.
backflips out there in the outfield.
Hey, back then it was cool to play baseball when you was black. You had Ozzie, you had we had Willie McGee, Vince Coleman. We had all black people.
Right.
I don't even know no black people now.
You not even mentioned the real goats. Come on, you talking about Strawberry,
Jose Canseco?
Eric Reed.
Jose Canseco.
That's your boy. I thought Paul was talking about some brown delegation.
No, man, it's Bob Bonilla. I'm rocking Bob Bonilla to the death. He's still getting paid by my Mets.
Who's the dude we had? Jose Akendo. Remember him?
You got
Secret weapon.
You got the catcher now. He's Puerto Rican.
Yachty.
Yeah, Yachty.
All right. So as y'all can tell, we got Paul, we got Ish,
Yo.
Ghetto Phenom, Box Wine Poppy,
do.
in reverse order. So
Yep,
we gonna get straight into our Week in Blackness. We already had my Week in Blackness off air, so I'm gonna have to think of something else for the rest of my Week in
Yeah,
Blackness.
we ain't gonna be able to top that story right there. That's nothing to top right there.
Yeah, anybody want to hear that version, send $100 to Patreon at the Black Delegates, and we'll see what we can do. I can retell the story for you. So let's start off with Ishmael. How was your Week in Blackness?
Yeah, my Week in Blackness was pretty good. Actually, probably go back to last week. You know, we didn't get to record an episode last week. Both Paul and Ryan were traveling. I was about to just do the one-man show on y'all, but I ain't want to get 100,000 downloads and then y'all come back.
We feel salty.
So I just laid it off. But yeah, man. So last week, and Paul was asking me about this a little bit before the show. Anybody who follows us on Instagram, which is at Black Delegates _ between Black and Delegates, may have seen the post on MLK Day. Your boy got an award. I always talk about hooping, my Saturday hooping adventures, this, that, and the other. But it's part of a ministry called God Fan Ball. I've been doing that for several years, probably 6 years now. And on MLK Day, me and my boy Danny, who started the organization, we got honored at this Monsanto YMCA MLK breakfast with the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Tribute Award. So they're just honoring organization for doing what we do, doing community service out there. It's like a huge event. So the mayor of St. Louis was there. Wesley Bell, the St. Louis County prosecuting attorney, first black prosecuting attorney in St. Louis. He was there. He gave the keynote address. So a lot of elected officials, a lot of community members. So it was packed. It was, I don't know how many people there, but it was literally the entire gym was packed. So got to go there, got honored, got to give a little speech and enjoyed that. So that was big. And the best part of it is I got some dope pictures out of it.
I saw you had the fresh suit on too. You looking sharp out there.
Appreciate that. The photographer from the paper came out, took some pictures, and it got me looking real presidential. One of my coworkers called me Reverend Dr. Ish when I got back to work. So I'm looking real presidential. I told him I was probably asking the lady, can she bring me some more Doritos? But as long as I look like I'm saying something important, I'm down with it. So. Big up to Monsanto YMCA for that and everybody who came out. But, that was really my week, just being around.
So hold on, but explain what was your award for specifically, and please say it includes dunking on people in the goddamn ball, because I will love that.
It should have included on dunking on people. I think that's really the reason they gave it to me, but you can't really be at an MLK breakfast and give somebody the best dunk for 2018 award. So you just got to tie in MLK some way. So that's why.
What you talking about? NBA got an entire MLK day of nothing but basketball, and it's the greatest thing. If you got the league pass, you live in the dream on Martin Luther King Day. That's literally all it is, right?
That's what Martin Luther King dreamed about. He just didn't say it at the time.
Black dudes,
but he definitely wanted black dudes playing all day long in the NBA on my birthday. Yeah.
Right, exactly. That was what my speech was. I was like, hey, King had a dream that, I could just dunk on a white dude and not get shot by the police.
So now what'd you say to the mayor? Look, we got to hear. What'd you say to the DA? What'd you say to all these people? About all the nastiness that's going on in St. Louis with all the different things.
You know what? I actually got a little bit of beef with Wesley Bell. Talked about Wesley Bell. And
get the gunshots ready, Ron.
Right. We got to get it ready. So, was able to talk to him after the fact, and actually I was trying to record his speech because one of my coworkers wanted to do a story about it, and I started to record it. Excuse me. Of course, the audio ended up stopping. I think when the phone screen turned off or got a text, for some reason, audio stopped. So I went up to him afterwards, and he's congratulating me. I'm congratulating him. We shooting the breeze, and I said, hey, man, I was trying to record your speech, but I didn't realize it stopped. I said, is there any way I can get a copy? Did you type it up? Can I get a copy for the paper so we can run a story? He's like, oh, yeah. I'll make sure I get it to you. Exchanged information, gave me his email address. I sent that brother an email. Didn't hear back. Sent him a follow-up email. I went, full professional mode, like white people mode. I'm like, let me send him a follow-up. Sent him a follow-up email, and still haven't heard back from this brother this day. So, he's on my wrong side a little bit. I know you're the first black prosecuting attorney, so I got to give you a little bit of slack. I know you're a little bit busy.
He might be actually prosecuting crimes.
Man.
Against cops.
Right.
Cops on cops.
Right. You got a conviction against a cop, I give you pass. But let the little dime bag dealer go and respond to my email, brother. You know what I'm saying? So I might have to have words with him next time I see him. No, just kidding him. But yeah, it was a good event, man, and got to rap with him, got to talk with everybody there. So it was good.
Cool, man.
That's what's up, man.
Good
Congratulations.
Pictures, man. Yeah.
Appreciate it. What about you, BWP?
Me, I didn't do much, man, except for work. But so the reason I could not record last week is because I had to travel. Had to go. The furthest I've ever traveled. Had to go to Singapore.
Oh, that's the same thing that they said yesterday on The Bachelor when I walked through the room. So you on The Bachelor? I always thought it was CIA, but maybe you really on The Bachelor.
I wish, but man, went to Singapore. Man, it was like 28 hours to get there. Had to go from Boston to Tokyo and then Tokyo to Singapore, all in coach, man. Anyway, it was brutal, man. It was a long, man. It was literally 28 hours total with layovers and everything like that, man. It was miserable. I watched every single movie humanly possible, but get there, man. It's cold here in the United States right now, but it is on the equator. No, not many people know about Singapore, but it's on the equator. So it's get off the plane. Oh man, it's like 92. Every day was like 92 and rainy. So just hot out there, man. But it was cool, man. It's a real big. It's just a city, man. It's not like a country. It's like I guess the country is. It's just a city pretty much. And skyscraper. Everything's built up. Everything looks brand new. But not a lot of like history or culture, I would say, like so much, man. It's all big fancy buildings and a lot of money and stuff like that. But that's all I did, man. Went out there for work. I was out there just for like 3 days. Did a little sightseeing and came on back. So that's why I missed y'all last week, unfortunately. But yeah, man, it was cool, man. Just being out there in Singapore. I don't know. So my week was Bruce Leroy Black for real.
All right. That's what's up. I don't know who goes to Singapore and act like it wasn't no big deal. But okay. I ain't do nothing, man. My week was whack. I went to Singapore.
It was definitely a small flex. Definitely a small. But look, man. Everybody thinks like traveling is great. But yo, man, traveling like
Sure
it's miserable, man. It's you think it's gonna be great, like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. No, man, you're just gonna sleep in that hotel room and do nothing. Oh, I will
what's the time
say,
difference out there?
oh, so the hotel I stayed at was nice. So like when Trump met with Kim Jong Un out there in Singapore like last year, and the hotel I stayed at was the same hotel that Kim Jong Un was at. It was not in the same room, of course, but the same hotel. So they kept talking to me about that. They were like, "Oh yeah, Kim Jong Un was here last year." I was like, "Oh, okay." And they were talking about his crazy bodyguards. I guess his bodyguards, like, they run. I guess when he was in Singapore,
He got the lady bodyguards, right?
No, he got the dudes, but like he's in like, you know, like it must be like a bulletproof Rolls Royce or, you know, Cadillac or whatever like that. But he has his bodyguards he has like a dozen bodyguards run alongside his car. Like basically the car is going like 5 miles an hour, and they run in like formation around the car like it's a human shield basically, which is wild. But I guess that was all going on from the hotel, and so they had pictures. You know, somebody like in the lobby, like just, you know, one or two little pictures of him, you know, there and stuff like that. So anyway, man, it was kind of cool. But an interesting city, man. Just clean. It's like I don't know if you remember when we were kids. Like there was a dude. Like I guess he did some graffiti. He was like an American kid. He lived there. He sprayed some graffiti, and I guess he got caned, and that was like a big deal because he got, you know, this other country was going to cane this American kid.
That.
You remember that? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so they got all these rules, like I guess you can't spit gum on the ground or you can get in trouble. And they got a limit how much gum like basically you can't buy gum in the whole country, and you can only bring in, if you're a tourist visiting, you can only bring in like 2 packs of gum with you. So they strict on it, man. You can chew gum, but you can have more than 2 packs. That's it. Which is wild.
So were you smuggling gum into the country? Was you
100%, bro? This is my Black Delegates. Do you think I didn't smuggle some gum in there? Come on, man. I had a big old pack of gum in there, slinging it. No, I'm just kidding, man. I didn't do anything like that, but it was cool, man. It's just a different culture. Man, way overcrowded, man. That place I don't see how that place can function, man. It's just too many people. But anyway, man, that's all I did. Nothing special.
All right.
Now, if y'all check out the Keep, man, I found a photo that was leaked. It was a WikiLeaks special. BWP on the plane. You know, you say you were watching a lot of movies, man. There's a picture of you watching movies on the plane. I think y'all need to check out. And while y'all are doing that, I'm also interested, Paul. You know, you were telling us before the pod. You know, we thought we may have to miss this week too. Because you had a little car issues. You don't want to talk about that at all?
Oh, well, okay. Like, so see, Ish, I blame this all on Ish, really. You know, because last week, Ish, you know, or 2 weeks ago, he tells us about his new car, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, congratulations for you. And of course, you know, my life is just a big, long Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. So, man, you know, the wife's car, you know, and it's funny, we actually went and looked at more cars. Remember we were talking, I was telling you how we went and looked at one car, and I was like, I'm going to look at some more here soon. So the weather was nice. So we went and looked at some cars this weekend. So I test drove 2 different cars this weekend. I'm not really ready to buy it just yet, but, you know, we kind of we go in that direction. So I'm like, you know, I'm really not trying to put nothing into this existing car. But anyway, so like, you know, doing stuff this weekend, regular stuff, blah, blah. Anyway, wife goes to get her hair done today. And man, like, she calls me like not too long after she leaves the house. She's like, "Oh, the tire pressure, you know, sensor went off." And I'm like, "Ah, it's probably just cold, you know, whatever. Like, it'll be fine." You know,
mine went off today too.
Yeah, but I was just like, it's you know, it's cold outside, or the temperature changing. So it made you know, it made sense to me. Anyway, so she goes there and she I say, "Well, just look at it when you get out of the car and, you know, let me know." And I didn't think it was no big deal. Anyway, she calls me like, it's looking pretty low. And I'm like, okay, well, you think you're going to make it back home? And she never responded to me. So then she was getting her hair done, and she finally got done. And then she comes back out, and then she sends me a picture of the tire, and it's flat. It's totally flat. And I'm like, and it's like, you know, it's like the kid's getting ready for it. He's eating. I was literally feeding the kid dinner, and he's got to go to school in the morning. So I'm like, man, how's this going to work? So anyway, last 2 hours just trying to get the car towed, stuff like that, and get it over to a dealership or to the you know, repair place so I can pick it up in the morning or go up there in the morning and have them work on it. So we're supposed to go on the road tomorrow too. We got to go like a 2-hour road trip tomorrow. So got to get this taken care of, man. But it's just headaches, man. Cars are not fun-ish. You'll know this pretty soon, man.
Now,
I get you got
a spare. I know you say you got roadside assistance.
We have
a spare.
We have a spare, but she ain't gonna change it, first of all. And then I wasn't gonna change it because like, I mean, what's the point?
You get paid too much for that.
and plus, okay, let me ask the Black delegation this. Okay, so like where her hair salon is at, it's not like just like a little strip mall. It's like a nice like shopping center, and they got like a bunch of cool bars and restaurants right out front. So and of course she's parked right there in front of there. And it's cold outside. Are y'all really in the middle of the night gonna be out there in front of this, all these cool people walking around to all these bars? Y'all gonna be out there changing tires out there in the parking lot just to get this car home?
I got to.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's worse places to have a flat.
Right. I'm beyond the age where I'm worried about looking cool, especially trying to change a car tire. Like I'd have been out there in my pajamas. I got some little fuzzy slippers on, like whatever it do.
Well, first of all, I didn't have great clothes on, but I had nicer clothes on. I was not like, you know, just some
Paul put on a suit knowing he had to change the flat tire. That way he could get out.
That way he didn't have to. Right?
No.
Oh, honey, I'm still in my business clothes.
She's like, you don't even wear suits to work.
Right.
Yo, man. But no, man. I wasn't about to get on there on that floor on that ground and do all that mess. I was like, man, I ain't messing with all these people out here. I'm good. But plus I need to get her home. I was like, okay, well, we got the kid here. You know, get him taken care of, and I'll just come back up here and wait on this car. And I mean, we're gonna drop it off at the place anyway. So if I'm paying a tow truck to come out, just go ahead and take it over there, man. It's all good. So
you ain't got AAA?
I don't have AAA. We got the roadside through the insurance, so but you still have to pay like it's like, you know, deducted fee or something like that. But it's still a little something you got to pay. But if you're gonna pay it, might as well just have them take it over there. No sense in me driving on a donut. It just don't make sense to me. Just put on the bid and take it over there and be done with it.
That's how we know that
Big
you're
baller.
of the brown delegation, not the black delegation. Because I'd have been on that donut for the next 6 months, bro.
Right.
I've been busting
Have
donuts
you done that?
in that donut.
Have you done that for real?
In donuts we trust. You see some black people riding around
going 80 miles an hour on the highway with the donut too.
And they ride it out.
No,
Hey,
man.
instead of buying a new tire, when I get a flat tire, I just buy a new donut. I got 4 donuts on the whip.
Yo, man, no, man. Hey, every time I don't know much, but I know when that donut comes on, hey, take that thing up there. But man, I see people riding with donuts for a long time. You're like, man, y'all are crazy. Like that, this cannot be smart right here. But more power to y'all, not me.
Right. Well, what about you, Ryan? You got anything new? I know you said you kind of used yours up, but you got something else?
Ryan just had the month in blackness right there. You don't even have to say nothing right now, bro.
Right.
I did. I know. I'm set for the rest of the year, for real. But I don't know. Y'all know it's been a little chilly. I've been up to my same old antics, you know. I told y'all about the world famous cardinal coat, which I'm now gonna call the cloak of invincibility.
Of white privilege. The cloak of white privilege.
It's the cloak of invincibility, where I think when I wear it, when the white people look at me out in South County, I don't think they notice that I'm black anymore. I don't know if it lightens my skin. I don't know if it's like Quantum Leap and I just look like a white dude. I don't know how it works, but it is great. Because every time I got it on, man, I got old white people, young white people. It doesn't matter who they are. One dude at the gas station talked to me for no apparent reason. I didn't even make eye contact with this dude. And he's just like, hey, how you doing? And I was like, I'm doing all right. How you? He's like, I'm good. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't know what to do because I didn't make eye contact with you. We weren't having any kind of a business relationship, so there was no reason for you to be talking to me. But when you got on the cloak of invincibility, these are the things that happened to me.
But see, Ryan, the downfall of all this cloak of invincibility that you like riding around is that you know nothing about baseball, and specifically you know nothing about the Cards, even though you live in the city.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
So like as soon as they ask you about a single player or a single issue with the Cards, it's all going to fall apart for you.
I usually know enough.
They know you're perpetrating.
I usually know enough. I know enough to BS through the conversation. But, you know, don't ask me about the pitching rotation. I don't know all that. But usually in the morning or something, I catch something about the Cardinals, and I can
Can you name 3 players off the current team?
Nah. No.
Well, I
Not
think.
right now.
Well, he doesn't have to though, because that's the thing.
Nobody here knows
Is
either.
that when you hear, all you really have to say is, "Oh man, how about Yachty?" Or it'd be
Right.
like, "Oh, he's no Ozzy." You got a couple names of
Drop a
past
Jim
or
Edwards in
present
there.
stars. Yeah,
Drop-
Jim Edmonds. You got Wainwright. Hey, I miss Wayno, and you good to go. So he doesn't have to know that many details. But I think it's also you probably got the glasses on too. So the glasses, and
Non-threatening
the
black
Cardinals
dude.
jacket. Yes, you're the most non-threatening black dude. I think.
Yeah,
the
but
dude's
my
probably-
my hair is twisted though. My hair twisted.
It don't
I'm not-
matter.
It's
see,
not.
you-
It's
but-
not.
but
abnormal.
see,
I
also
got
you-
facial
but-
hair now.
No,
I
but
got
you
facial hair
don't
now.
really have facial hair. You have
Yes,
like,
I do, man. Come on, dude.
You got
Don't
that
disrespect my
Jay-Z
beard now. I got a
the
little
Jay-Z
beard.
joint.
No, I
Unless you got
don't.
yes, you do. Yes,
My
you
beard
do.
is solid. My beard is solid. It's cool.
You got no connectors. If your goatee
It
and,
do
and
connect.
beard and mustache don't connect, you ain't got no facial hair.
It
man.
connects. I'm good. It connects.
Hey, like I said, the St. Louis County prosecuting attorney Wesley Bell, he got the twisties too. So now when you
What?
got the twist, like you good, like it's
Hopefully.
no longer that threatening because we elected a prosecutor with him. So they look past you on that. You got the Cardinals jacket, you got the glasses. They like good. The dude wanted to talk to you because he probably wanted to be like, yo. Next time I say something racist, I can be like, no, I have a black friend, and you were that black friend, the dude that he talked to at the gas station for like
Maybe.
5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. Man,
See,
it
I
even
like-
works on handicapped white people. Like it was a white man in a wheelchair, and he was just like, I said, "Oh, go ahead, sir," and he was like, "Oh no, you go ahead." I was like, wow. I tugged on my lapel, and I walked on by. You know, good times.
he could think that maybe they think you're part of the organization. I wonder if that's part of it. I wonder if they think like you're like, like he must be like the director of
Maybe.
Player personnel or something like that.
Hey,
Think
it is
Ryan
one of
Pujols.
it is the coat that they wear. It is the coat that they wear. It's legit. So.
Oh, now how much did you spend
I
on
don't
this
see
coat?
too many,
Because
though.
Ryan, you're a
It's
cheapskate.
expensive,
I can't
man.
see you buying like the
but when I
authentic
saw
game.
it though, it's one of them things where you really don't see stuff like that in my size. But I saw it and I was like, man, I gotta get this. It was probably $200-$300, I'm sure.
Damn, 200.
I dropped.
He talking about
think
us
so.
with our good credit scores. This man buying $200-$300 on a car.
Man, that was
Yeah.
years ago, man. Years ago, long before kids, long before wives. That was nothing back then. If you to have an impulse buy of $200, but it ain't
Must
gonna
be
happen
nice.
now.
Right.
That $100 I paid for the $100 tire. I'm gonna have to get tomorrow. I'm gonna be hurting tomorrow for that.
You getting the cheap
Be
time,
lucky.
bro.
You'd be lucky if it's
Well,
100, right?
I'll be lucky if I want
Right.
it's 100.
Especially
that's
that's
for
an
sure.
SUV too, right? So
Oh yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
probably gonna be about
you'll be
100,
looking at-
160 probably.
yeah, buck
Don't
50.
have your woman riding around on that bald tire, man. You buying a new tire with no treads on.
Well, I'm really hoping as they say, don't say that I need more new tires. That's what I'm really hoping.
Oh,
don't
they
say,
going
wow,
to.
We need 2
You
more.
gotta
on
get
this
all
side over
4.
here. Anyway, we'll find out.
All right, let's get into these.
Yeah, let's get into topics, man. Because this first topic, I don't know what.
So Ishmael, you just snuck this one in here, man. Is this your story or this Paul's?
That's the picture I was telling you about. That's Paul when he was on this trip to Singapore.
Oh, 100%. That's 100%. That's
Yeah,
100%.
So this brother, he was watching his tablet. You would think, hey, I'm just on a business trip, but you look in the reflection in the mirror, and he has some eclectic tastes.
Right.
Yeah, my man.
So, yeah, that was a little joke. We don't have to talk about that. I would just slide that in there for.
That's funny. All right.
Oh, I could tell a little story about that, but I don't know. You want y'all? Can we get a little PG-13
God.
here?
Oh God. Is it
Go
gonna
for it.
cost
Might
me
as
an
well.
hour of editing?
Go for
Huh?
it. Let's go.
I said, don't make it cost me an hour of editing, but go ahead.
No. Okay, so Singapore. So we were warned before we got there that prostitution is legal in Singapore.
Okay.
And so do not go drinking. Be careful when you go drinking or where you go out to, because there are women out there that'll proposition you or whatever like that. So just be smart. They gotta be smart about this stuff. So they give us fair warning. And And the hotel where I'm staying at, like nearby there, I guess like there's like a big red light district. So it's everywhere. But anyway, so I went by. I just kind of walked over and like toward the area.
You just happened to walk by it.
No, you can't. No.
I just happened to walk by. I didn't.
No. It's literally out front of the hotel. It's literally there, right? Like it's all in one area. Like there's no avoiding it. And it's out there, man. It's just it's crazy, man. It's like nothing you ever seen before. It's like nothing in America, man. I nothing to describe it, but it's out there, man. So wild, man. Wild stuff out there. You don't need these you don't need the iPad out there if you don't want it. I guess it's crazy, man. Anyway, I avoided all that, ducked and dodged all that.
Good job. Thanks for your service. So, Paul, this next story is yours, man. Kamala Harris announces her presidential bid.
Hold on. How'd you pronounce it? Say it one more time, Ryan.
What'd I say? I said Camilla. So Kamala.
Kamala Harris. That's right.
Okay, my bad.
So Kamala Harris.
My bad, Kamala.
No, I like Kamala.
Kamala. That's right. Kamala Harris.
Is it for real?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So she announced her bid for president this weekend.
Man, I like her, but that's a trash pronunciation.
Did y'all? Ish, you probably got some opinions on this. I guess you probably. I'm guessing you probably watched or heard a little bit about her speech or like that. Her speech got rave reviews anyway, like that. So she's been doing this whole rollout with we all knew this was coming. She was going to run for president, but like I guess she's getting a lot of like backlash online from people, especially like black people. Like, oh, she's not black enough, or she doesn't.
Oh, we got to stop that mess.
Some of her stuff, and so I just I'm gonna defer to you two. But what do y'all think about the lady? Some of her, what do you think about the rollout and some of this kind of backlash she's been getting out there?
I'm gonna go first because I don't know much of anything about her, so it's not in my rotation to really be up in politics until it's time to be in the politics. Other than that, I try to stay away from it outside of her questioning during the Supreme Court justice situation. A nomination.
Right.
So, yeah. But other than that, I mean, she seems smart. She seems capable. I mean, anybody's capable nowadays. So, it doesn't matter who you are. Now it's just, can you beat Trump? Because there's no rules anymore. So that's really what we need to worry about. But what about you, Ish? I want you to give us an expert opinion.
I don't know if I have an expert opinion on her, but I feel a couple things about it. Like, even before she announced, I was hearing certain people, and it's usually actually black men, who would like criticize her for her dating life. Like, apparently she dated this Willie
Brown, the mayor.
Yeah, Willie Brown, the mayor.
Much older dude. Much older dude.
California, while he was married. And I hear people kind of insinuate, well, she slept her way to the top, this, that, and the other.
Oh, my God.
Stuff like that. Like, miss me with that.
Now, real talk, you can't trust a dude named Willie. But I'm just saying.
Well, I think even whenever she dated him, she was already like the state prosecutor or something like that. So she was an established person anyway. But I feel like those type of criticisms, like, that is part of that double standard when it comes to women and men. Because, I mean, you got Trump in office now, who this dude got, like 3 baby mamas. His wife used to be a stripper, and, all this stuff. Nobody cares. But now everybody's kind of going through her relationship history like it's something nefarious in there. So that type of stuff, like, miss me with that. Right. I do feel like the questions about her record as a prosecutor in California, like, that's fair game. And
that's valid.
If you run for president, you know that the good, the bad is going to come out. Like I said, I'm not really here for that, the sex talk and, who she slept with. Who cares? But when it comes to her being a prosecutor, and they said that she wasn't necessarily, like, she was a prosecutor, like, more times than not, she was siding with the police as opposed to the other people. So I think it is fair to question her record in that regard. But, if people saying, are you black enough, you always going to hear that. You heard that about Obama. You heard that about Jesse Jackson. Anytime a black candidate runs, they're going to get some criticism. They're going to get a lot of criticism from white people, but they also gonna get some criticism from black people too. That's just par for the course.
Yo, how black you gotta be, Cameron? I mean, is that the only way you to be okay? I mean, we gotta stop that, man.
Kodak Black.
We really gotta stop it. Right, you gotta be Kodak Black to be black. You gotta be 21 Savage, like just overdoing it and ridiculous. I guess so, man. But
to me,
I don't think it's a whole bunch of people. It's probably not a. I think we're starting to take Twitter. Although Twitter is a percentage of the population, Twitter is not everybody by far.
Yeah, Twitter,
I mean,
there's a lot of trolls, and there's a lot of people that got 5-6 accounts on Twitter, so you gotta take that with a grain of salt.
It's a whole bunch of little internet folks, and it's cool, man, if you like being on Twitter. But y'all ain't the only voice around here, which it was just proven time and time again. But they starting to sway the culture in the United States on a regular basis.
Yeah, the part that killed me was like, as soon as she announced, there was like all this birtherism stuff, because I guess she was born in Oakland, but then her parents moved like to Canada afterwards, so she lived there for a time, but then she came back and went to Howard. She's an AKA, all this stuff like this. So I mean, she's definitely had a lot of the black experiences.
That's pretty black.
That's pretty black. Those are pretty black. But people were like, "Oh, she's a plant." She did all this. This is all like a long con. Like she just went to Howard so she could pretend to be black, so that she could, run as a black presidential candidate, 30 years down the road. It's like, it's so crazy.
Man,
it's so
ask her, has she ever hung out on Beale Street? And if she says yes, black enough.
On Beale Street? She probably never heard of Beale Street. She's from Oakland, man.
Everybody done went on Beale Street, man.
Look, you had the first black president name was Barack, and they said he ain't black enough. Her name is Kamala, and they saying she ain't black enough. Like, you never gonna be the right amount of blackness, because people don't want to see a black president. So either you're gonna be not black enough, or you're gonna be too black. If you try to put somebody hood up in there, you put Samuel L. Jackson, which I guess he's not hood, but you put him up in there, people say, oh, he's too black.
So, he kind of hood.
He's kind of hood. he can definitely play hood, that's for sure.
Right, he can play hood. So it's a no-win in that situation. So for me, I'm not a person who's going to. I hate when people say like, "Oh, you only vote for that person because they black people." But black people only supported Obama. Black people only supported Obama because he was black. It's not true. You know how many?
In that case, we would have voted for Jesse Jackson.
Exactly, Jesse Jackson.
Which nobody did.
You had what's the guy from? He ended up going to Chicago to run against Obama. Alan. Was it Keys?
Oh, Alan Keys.
Alan Keys.
Alan Keys. Nobody voted for him. There's been a lot of black candidates that black
Sharpton ran a couple. He ran a couple times.
Sharpton ran. What's the doctor? The crazy doctor.
Yeah, but none of those dudes ever got to. They were all in the primaries, and like
Trump's doctor we didn't run with.
Let's be real. Black people ain't voting in the primary because the primary don't mean nothing for most part. It's when you get to the general election. But there's
Obama
never.
Obama got the black vote in the primaries though.
Obama got all the votes in the primaries because he was the man. But when it came out to the general, that's when the black people, a lot of people. If you're worthy of our time, we'll come out for you. But if you're not, then we won't. I mean, that's how it is. Yeah.
Yeah. But the being black helps, but you have to be black and competent. We're not just gonna vote for any random black person.
Because we don't want nobody embarrassing us.
Right. You got to be a qualified candidate. So I think in this primary, people will see. People will get to judge. I mean,
they're going to judge for sure because she can have so much competition.
She doesn't have a long record on the national stage. Cory Booker, who's probably going to run, he doesn't have a long record on the national stage. But within those primaries, and this is another thing I hate to hear people say, like, I don't know if y'all have seen it on social media, especially black people are like, oh, it's too many candidates running for Democrats that Trump is just going to end up back in office. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, that's what the primary is for. I don't care if you got 5 candidates or 500 candidates. The primary is going to weed out the fakers. So it doesn't matter.
Hold on. I feel you on that in one way, but then let's look at what happened in 2016 with the Republican primary. I mean, it was like 30 dudes and Trump. His ideas were terrible, and he still won. So it can go both ways, man.
Where is Howard Dean? Where is Howard Dean when you need him?
Yeah.
He need to redo, man. Come back. I mean, he got a little too excited and he got kicked out. Look who we got in now.
I told you I ate lunch beside him one day. I ate lunch beside him one day in DC, man.
That's right.
He was at the Potbelly's just having a sandwich, man. We were at the table next door to him. I didn't bother him, but I was like, hey, that's that dude. I want to say, yeah, but I left him alone.
You should have.
No, he's probably gonna slap the mess out of me. So I left that man alone. But he was definitely sitting right there. I was like, yo, I think that's Howard Dean right there. My coworker was like, yeah, I think that is. And so we just, we left him alone. He was just like, he was just checking his BlackBerry. He had his sunglasses on and just enjoying the sun. I was like, oh, whatever, man. We'll leave him alone. But he was there, man. I seen that dude, man. Good dude.
Yeah, but I mean, the reason Trump won wasn't because there was so many Republican candidates. It was because he was able to stand out amongst the candidates. It's like we're in a cult of personality now. Even Obama, really, he had more personality. He knew how to engage social media better. Like when Obama first won, that was a big thing. Nobody had raised money online before. Yeah. And Obama was like, yo, we got to do this online fundraising. And he shot up. Well, fast forward 8 years to Trump. Trump knew how to manage social media, mainly with Twitter, because he was a reality TV star and a celebrity, and the other candidates didn't have the grasp of that as well. So it's just like your personality has to stand out. You got to be able to do the internet thing better than the other candidates. And even when you look like in Mexico, their current president, he's a personality candidate. All across the world, you're starting to see these people, not necessarily the most qualified, but they just have the biggest, most boisterous personality. And that's what people are gravitating to. We're in an Instagram society. Everybody's like, yo, look at me. And that's kind of how our politics are reflecting as well.
And that's a damn shame.
Overall,
God help us. God help us all.
Yeah, we tired of the political fakeness. So we trying to find somebody that's real, but because of that, it's pushing us over a little too far to the other side. So it'll straighten out hopefully soon. Hopefully we don't destroy ourselves in the meantime.
Speaking of fakeness, let's move on to the next topic.
Oh, why you gotta say that? That's a terrible segue. Terrible segue. Nothing fake about this, brother. I wanted to talk about my man Pastor Gray.
Okay.
Pastor Gray. He's one of the dudes from Joel Osteen's church. I know Joel Osteen. I think his main base is like Houston or something. Yeah. So he's the smiling preacher. I got my qualms with Joel Osteen just in general, just regarding the word and everything, because everything okay at Joel Osteen's church. It don't matter what you do, as long as you putting some money in that offering plate. But I want to talk about Pastor Gray because he's been on a lot of people's tongues of late, talking about his money and what he been spending his money on. Apparently, he recently bought his wife a anniversary gift, and it was, how much that car cost?
I'm sure if it was a Lambo, right? It was like
$200,000.
$200,000 on a car. So, what say you, fellas? I'm gonna let Paul go first.
Well, hold on. What? Just to clarify the story, wasn't it because he got caught cheating or something like that?
I saw that in there, but it doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter.
I mean, it was for no, it doesn't, because it's an anniversary gift. So that's what it said.
Okay. So
I don't care why he got it for, but the thing, it wasn't about why he got it for. It was because he bought it. Period, and he's a pastor.
I do care about that part of it, but, and I'm not even religious, but okay, but let's just stick to buying the car. No, man, that's nasty, man. That's 100% nasty. Look, like, man, nobody's saying pastors shouldn't live well, shouldn't live comfortably. You shouldn't be able to enjoy their life. But man, past a certain point, I think it's just too much, man. If your pastor is out there giving away $200,000 cars to their wife, basically as an apology for effing off, I think the parishioners should have a problem with that. I mean, that money, like, nobody's saying the pastor can't live comfortably, but man, at what level is too comfortable to be living off your flock, man? That's what I don't like. And I know it goes on. I know he ain't the most egregious one. I know it'll never stop, but I just have that problem with organized religion, man, personally. So I don't like it. I think it's nasty, but it's never gonna stop. I'm sure.
Why it gotta be nasty?
It's nasty, man. It's nasty.
Go ahead, Ish. What you think, man?
I'm gonna agree with Paul a little bit. I don't feel like it's nasty, but I feel like it's excessive. Now, if he wanted to buy the car, I'm not even going to say you can't buy the car. I think you don't necessarily need to be flexing it on social media. You don't need to be putting it out there, because we all know that when it comes to church, when it comes to religion, because of the bad apples, we'll call them, there already is this hesitation to trust, because we feel like, oh, you got these money grubbing pastors, this, that, and the other. So why would you feed into that narrative by buying a Lambo, stunting it out on Instagram? You out here with pictures showing everybody, like, it's just not a good look. When you look about, when you get into religion, people say what? The most simple thing is, what would Jesus do? You think Jesus is going to be in a Lambo? If Jesus was driving a car right now, what kind of car you think he got? That's a serious question.
A 1981 Toyota Tercel.
Toyota Tercel. What about you, Ryan? What would Jesus drive?
Oh, he got to have the Lumina.
I'm pretty sure
he got to have the Lumina.
Jesus would never drive, because he would just have planes chartered all over the country because people would just pay for him. He'd be kind of like Al Sharpton in them.
Jesus only had 12.
Are you calling? Oh my gosh!
I said like they be doing, where they don't actually have a job because other people have them doing. They have stuff for them. That's how it would be.
You just called Jesus Al Sharpton, bro.
Jesus
not
Jesus
as a person, just as a means of transportation.
Clout, man. He had 12 followers max. It's like basically what I got on Twitter. So he had 12. He had no clout. So come on, man. He wasn't gonna be charging up private jets.
I'm sure he had more than 12 followers, considering.
I think Jesus. He gonna have like a minivan, but it's gonna be It's gonna be like a.
It's gonna be the Scooby Doo van. It's gonna be the Mystery Mobile.
Yeah, because he gotta fit the disciples up in that mug. He gotta fit the apostles in there. So he's gonna have a van.
A Econo van.
Be a whack van. Yeah.
So he gonna have an old church van, is what you saying?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, let me talk about this. All right. This is the problem that I have with this situation. I do understand y'all's point as far as the optics of it all. But it's funny that when we're dealing with situations of money, and we had this conversation on another podcast where we talked about how much money is too much money, and everybody said, well, there's no limit. You can make as much money as you want to. But the second somebody makes money doing what their God-given gift is, which is talking, because that's what they do. Everybody can't talk the same. You can't preach the same. You ain't got the same personality as this dude got. He gets paid for those things by that church. Same thing that we say with NBA players. Are they supposed to turn the checks down? No, of course not. So why is it that when we're in a situation where somebody's in the church, and this brother has books, he's writing books, he's got bestsellers, he has a TV show. Those TV shows pay you a lot of money. He's not just out here just living off whatever the church pays him for a salary.
Yeah. I just think
it's that money plus his salary. If he can afford a Lamborghini and he wants to buy one, why can't he without being scrutinized? Now, I still, like I said, I understand where you say that, but a lot of people are acting like he's stealing from the church and he's doing all that. He has a lot of other ventures that's making him money too, which are his own talents.
But all off the word of God. I just think it's weird because you got to. Okay, when we were talking about how much money is too much money, I think we all did say that there is a point where you've made enough to be comfortable and have all your wishes desired, and everything beyond that is too much. How much? But are we going to stop somebody from making as much money as they want to make? No. But should we have a tax system where it taxes people? I'm not talking about this AOC where she, maybe she's 7% marginal tax rate, things like that. I think those are things we can discuss. But then churches and ministers, they don't pay no tax, right?
Right.
So you got these hardworking people that are buying his books, paying tithes.
I'm sure I think the organization doesn't get taxed, and I don't know. I might have to ask that. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure the person still has to pay some taxes.
I don't know. I think if your job is like a full-time minister, I don't think that salary is taxed.
I think they're exempt. Really? I think they're exempt, man. I
don't know because our pastor don't get paid, so that ain't never been no information I've been privy to. I'm about to ask. I'm gonna find out.
Maybe the book stuff is separate, but I think anything that comes from church donations and things like that, I think that's all tax free, man. So that's where I kind of have the beef with it, because you got people that are paying taxes, and then after taxes they're putting after tax dollars into that collection plate, And then if you got enough money to be buying a Lambo. Now, if you got the books, okay, I guess I can. That's a gray area, but still, man, you're doing off the word of God. This is that God-like to be living
so
like
how
that?
Come
I don't think so.
we don't? I mean, nobody care when Lil Yachty gotta buy a Bugatti for $1 million.
Oh,
I mean, if you make the money, you make the money. Like I'm not finna tell Ishmael you shouldn't get this kind of car when you can afford it.
But
No matter what his job is, a drug dealer can have a Lamborghini. Nobody cares.
That's
right,
not
because when you come to, I think the thing is when you come to religion, then there's this expectation that your livelihood is to help others. Your livelihood is to help out the less fortunate, and so and like I said, I don't have a problem with him making money and being rich. I have no problem with that at all. And I even said you can buy the car, but you just don't need to push it out there like that. You don't need to push it front and center. Now, if he was just driving the car down the street, or his wife's just driving the car down the street, TMZ popped out on him like woo woo, and I'm gonna say, hey, that man was minding his business. But he's out there pushing that, like being flashy with it, and I think that's where you come into the problem, because it is just a bad look for the church. So you end up kind of hurting your credibility or hurting the message that you're trying to portray, because now it kind of looks like a hypocrite. And even, I'm not going to get into scripture, but the Bible talks about being humble. It talks about not wearing your best clothes to church. So you're not supposed to wear your best clothes because it may make somebody feel uncomfortable, but you pulling up in a Lamborghini, how do you think that makes other people feel too? So if I'm driving a Escort, then I'm like, man, I can't go to this church. Like they everybody up here got Benzes, Lambos, Aston Martins. Like I don't belong here, and that's where I think you get in that trouble, because it just makes people feel like they don't belong.
Man, if anybody should be blessed to have any of those things, it should be people preaching the word. Seriously. Now, I ain't getting into the what is he preaching about specifically. I've heard some of his sermons, but he's not somebody I listen to. I don't personally like him that much.
You said that was your guy.
Yeah, because I watched the show. He seemed cool. That's it. Nothing more than that. Wife likes to watch that show, so that's something we watch together. But yeah, so I mean, it's just one of those things I find funny in society that we do that, like super scrutiny on anybody out here making money that way. But hey, man, it's a lot of ways to make money that are inherently evil.
Would you be cool if like a congressman, just a regular congressman, was riding around in a Benz in a Ferrari?
That's the money that they make, man. They can do whatever they want to do with their money. Okay. Seriously, it's just like everybody else. If you can afford it and you want it, go ahead. You're not hurting me. You're just not. He's doing a lot more good than what that Lamborghini costs, I guarantee you. Regardless of what his motives may even be. You still out here, you saying positive things that are getting people through life, man. It's a cost to that. I mean, it's worth something.
And getting those ladies, and
that's why he has the thing he got.
And that's fine and good. My biggest thing, like I said, for me, you got to have some humility with it. Like, you can't just be out there flexing and flossing and stunting, whatever you want to call it. Like, that's just not a good look for the church in general. So if that's what he want to do, that's his business. Like, I really don't care that much, but I don't think it's a good look personally.
I care, Pastor Gray, but I'm gonna change my tune if you let me ride that Ferrari on the weekend. So do that, and I'll change my mind on this. Until then, you nasty.
Okay.
So, what do you want to talk about next, man?
Man, we probably gonna skip this next one.
Okay, you want to talk about? Pick one. You pick, man.
All right, we're gonna skip this Jay-Z Meek Mill.
Favorite topic.
It's not my favorite topic.
Favorite topic.
It just happened to have been a topic on this show that was funny.
Like
that
12
I keep bringing
times,
up.
and Ryan brought it up every time.
Hey, every time it's just worked. So Paul messaged us in the group chat this week saying fried chicken leads to higher risk of death than any other cause except cancer. And that one serving of fried chicken / fish per day linked to 13% higher risk of death. Now, first of all, Paul, I think it's racist that you even put that. You ain't put that in no white people chat, I bet. I bet your work chat didn't get that. So how come you think that we eat fried chicken every day? Come on, man. If you eat fried chicken every single day, yeah, you're going to die. Everybody knows this.
Yo,
so you explain yourself.
I mean, man, you know I be trolling, man. I be trolling y'all all the time, man. But yo, man, when I read it, I was like, oh, fried chicken. Oh, let me read it. You know, so I read through it. I had the same thought. I was like, man, who is eating fried chicken every single day? Like, you deserve to die.
Hey, for the record, I ate some fried chicken right before we started this podcast. So, full disclosure.
If I had some fried chicken, I would have ate it before the podcast.
I can't lie. I ate one of the kids. It wasn't fried, but I ate one of the kids' breaded fish sticks. So I'm probably close to death too.
The chicken itself probably ain't killing nobody. It's everything else that they got in it, hormones and chemicals and stuff you feeding these chickens.
It's that Lowry's, man. It's that Lowry seasoning salt and that grease.
Yeah, ain't no telling what that is. What is that?
We are not going to slander Lowry seasoning up in here today. I tell you,
Ishmael, you put Red Hot Ripley seasoning on your stuff, don't you? You ever try that out? What happened?
I don't. I think the wife bought some, but I don't know.
Y'all still ain't tried it?
She used it or not?
Had to have.
I don't think she has. I'm gonna have to ask her. I'm
gonna let you know now. You fell in all blackness if you haven't tried.
I got a Black Delegates fried chicken story. Speaking of this, so Ish, the one time me and Ish have ever linked up in person was in Memphis. Ish came to visit me in Memphis for a business transaction. You know, I was the plug in this situation.
Right.
But as soon as Ish left the house, I was like, "So what you about to do, man? You done drove all this way, you know? Come, you know, whatever." He's like, "Yo, man, I'm gonna go check out this little chicken spot over here called Gus's." Is what he said he was gonna do. So he made it all the way down to see me. As soon as he leaves the house, he goes straight over to Gus's. Now, in our business transaction, he forgot a small portion of this. You remember this issue? You forgot a small portion of that.
I do.
And so when he had come over after, came over for a little while, and my wife and I, we were getting ready to go to dinner. So I'm like, okay, well, he's getting ready to go to the chicken spot. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna bring this back over there to him. I was gonna bring this extra little piece over to him. So I was like, hey Ish, I'm gonna meet you over there at the chicken spot. So I go over there, open the door. Who do I see right there with a plate full of fried chicken in his mouth? Ish. So I know Ish is a fried chicken fan. No. And he likes the good fried chicken because Gus's is fire fried chicken. I was staying by Gus's.
If my memory serves me correctly, you actually were the one that put me on to Gus's fried chicken in the first place because I'd never heard of it. But when I told you I was coming down, you was like, yo, you got to stop by Gus's. Like, they got this fire hot chicken. So you're trying to assassinate me is what I'm finally hearing. Like, you trying to kill me.
That's what I'm here for, to secretly kill all black people.
Right. Now we know what you be doing when you go on them trips.
Hold on, but now Ish, when you
black folks.
But Ish, now when you went to that particular Gus's, because there's several Gus's in the city, but the one that I took you to was out in the suburbs. Deep suburbs, and it was like a plantation house. Would you say so? When you walked up there, it kind of looked like, like, hey, maybe I need to pick up a broom and start sweeping.
Yo, can you eat chicken at a plantation? That's not cool.
It does kind of look like.
Did you do that, Ish?
I don't remember what that place looked like, honestly.
It was like a little house. It was like an old, like old Southern style, house or whatever like that. So it was a house. It was like a legit house that they made into a restaurant.
Gotcha. Yeah, they brought a Gus's here in St. Louis. It's actually not too far from the crib, but I don't even go there that often. There's actually couple other chicken places a little bit better that we usually hit up before we hit up Gus's. But
Gus's, all I'll say is Gus's is better than that Nashville hot chicken. I can't eat that mess. That Nashville hot stuff, man. Get that mess out of here. It makes my stomach tear up. Can't do it.
Word.
Give me Gus's any day.
So what about you, Ryan? The fried chicken lover, connoisseur, what say you about this higher risk of death?
Give me all the chicken.
Y'all remember the old on the Nas CD? He had that song on there with Busta Rhymes called Chicken.
No, and I don't remember that.
You don't remember this? Oh,
Dang. I was gonna say, you know,
gotta
I don't listen
remember
to
that.
Nas, so.
Yep. Remember? So the name of the album for Nas, look it up. It's the N-word, and he had a song on there called "Fried Chicken."
Oh yeah,
And they rap about how great fried chicken is, but then they also say how it's gonna kill them. But at the same time, they love it. So if you want to listen to a ghetto chicken song, I'm gonna say check it out because there's nothing more true than that particular song. But it's good because they just rapping about chicken like it's a woman. It's funny.
Well, Buster definitely like he's had more than his fair share of fried chicken. Buster needs to lay off the chicken for a little while.
Did y'all hear the story about Busta Rhymes in the news lately?
No, what happened?
No, what's up?
They said, and actually I think I heard this on a podcast, so I didn't even read the actual story, so take it with a grain of salt, but they said Bus was like in his car, just like rolling down the street, and they said a woman saw him and recognized him and, you know, kind of said, "Hey, what's up, how you doing?" I guess he had his window down. And she said, "Hey, hey, how you doing?" And she was walking down the street with her husband, like her and her husband walking hand in hand down the sidewalk. She see Busta Rhymes. She says, "Hey, how are you?" And he said, Bus was like, "Hey, you want to get in?" and the husband was like ready to scrap with him. Was like, "What are you talking about? Or is she ready to get in?" Like, and so they apparently had some words or whatever. Nothing actually happened, I don't believe, but they were just talking about the audacity Bus had to just invite this woman's or this man's wife to come dip out in them in the car.
That's a flex. That's nasty. See what the Lamborghini does. See when you get the Lamborghini, Ryan. See what happens. This is the mind state that takes over, man. So this Pastor Gray, he gets the Lamborghini, borrows it from the wife for the weekend. Bam, more women.
Next thing you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Eating fried chicken in the back seat with some fast woman.
From Singapore. All right, man. Let's move on to the last topic. Let's finish this one out.
Last topic, Paul. This yours too.
Okay.
Terry Crews versus DL Hughley.
Look, I know very little about this topic, but basically over the weekend, like there was just a bunch of Twitter beef going back and forth between comedian DL Hughley and Terry Crews, who we all know from Everybody Hates Chris and other great movies such as White Chicks. That was the
I was
GOAT
gonna
role.
say we know him from White Chicks.
White Chicks,
that's a fact.
Yeah.
And Old Spice commercials.
Spice commercials. Yeah.
So anyway, this is kind of like I don't know exactly how it all started, but I guess DL Hughley was kind of bringing back up the topic of Terry Crews back when he was accused that white I guess gay white producer of kind of like sexually assaulting him, things like that. DL Hughley, basically his whole stance was like, "Man, look how big you are," which is a common comedic trope. Hey man, look how big you are, just slap the mess out of this dude. And so I went back, and then Terry Crews kind of chimed in and said, like, "Hey, I did do this. I did, tell people, wanted to tell people, but I knew it would end my career, blah, 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 blah." Anyway, went back and forth. At the end of the day, Terry Crews said, "Well, like, how would you like if I bitch slapped you," or something like that to DL Hughley. I didn't pick it up after that, but in this battle, who y'all got, Terry Crews or DL Hughley?
I don't even think this is like a contest right here. I don't even know why we're talking about it. I mean, we all know Terry Crews would probably put the beat down on DL. So it's not really. I don't see DL as a fighter. I don't know. Maybe y'all do. But the funny dudes is probably not the dude throwing hands. That's just a fact. Terry Crews, like it worked out for him, but just because he didn't steal on that dude in that particular situation, although questionable, he is right. He would have got blackballed, literally.
Yeah,
again, had he stole on that dude. I mean, you got felt up. That's just like any of us. If we stole on our boss, you're going to get fired. You probably going to catch some charges, and it ain't going to work out for you.
Yeah.
So you're going to always have that on your record. So he did the adult thing, and, like most of us would do in that situation, you gotta think first. What you think, Ish?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the bigger thing is, like you said, catching charges. I mean, when you're looking at Terry Crews, I mean, this huge dude, former NFL player, muscles popping out of muscles, and you have this other guy who gropes him or whatever. If he beats him down and it becomes Terry Crews, this big, imposing, mean-looking black man, versus this white guy, who do you think the police are going to believe? So Terry Crews is going to jail. That's, then, like you said, he may have problems in the industry. So he chose not to handle it that way. And, of course, I think for men in general, like, that's just kind of our first reaction. Like, everybody who heard that story initially was like, what? Like, he grabbed you where? Like, I would have stole on him. Like, that's just our innate instinct. But to go out there and try to put that out there, what DL Hughley actually said was, God gave me muscles so I could say no. And so he's basically just throwing jokes out there and making fun of him, and Terry Crews is trying to be like, look, I know I could have handled it that way, but I'm trying to handle it the right way, and everybody's making fun of me. So you hear this term toxic masculinity being thrown, like that's the new buzzword for 2019, 2018, toxic masculinity. I think this is the perfect example. It's just like everybody kind of ridiculing him because of how he handled the situation, even though he probably handled it the right way. But it's just not our instinct, because everybody's just like, yo, I would have stolen him.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely stole. I am a little weirded out by, like, Terry. I mean, I'm not saying he's trying to take advantage of it or anything, but it's just like, why does he keep talking about this? Like, I would just be like, okay, man, the dude tried to come on to me, and like, okay, I didn't slap him, which is good. It shows restraint. It shows, a level of maturity. But like, okay, man, just and then you outed the dude got fired, blah blah. But that's it. But like, I don't know. I'm a little weirded out by, like, he keeps popping up and talking about this issue and just keep going, because it's like when you go on these little media appearances, man, like you don't have to talk about certain things if you don't want to. I definitely, if I got sexually assaulted, if I was a woman or if I was a guy and I got sexually assaulted, I wouldn't necessarily want to talk about it on every single talk show. So I'm guessing he's cool talking about this and wants to talk about these things. And I'm just kind of like, wow, okay, it was one incident. You're a dude. Nothing happened. And as big as you are and how little that dude was, nothing was going to happen unless you want it to happen. Like, why do you make this a big, why are you making this such a big deal when there's like, if a woman wants to talk about these issues, it's a whole different, situation, where maybe they're not strong enough to, defend themselves against this person, things like that. I mean, this is not the case with this dude, but why? I just kind of get weirded out that he's always talking about this and making it a big issue.
Toxic masculinity, Paul.
I guess I'm guilty. I'm
why is it
honest.
Different between a man and a woman? You said it's different if a woman has had this type of thing happen than a man.
If a woman's out there talking about, like, the Harvey Weinstein dude, and she's talking about her experience with that dude, I mean, I want to hear that. I mean, but I can understand why it's uncomfortable for her to talk about it, and I can definitely respect her if she doesn't want to talk about it. If she doesn't want to go, if she wants to do an interview on Conan O'Brien or whatever she's doing, Tonight Show, and she don't want to talk about that, that's cool. But it seems like every time I hear about Terry Crews now, that's all he talks about. It's like, why, man? It's like, it happened one time. And it's not like in a situation where you were never going to be able to get out. I mean, he was in total control of that situation because he could say yes or no, and he could have slapped the mess out of him. He could have killed the dude.
Well,
he
didn't get a chance to say yes or no because he already did it.
Right.
You already grabbed my junk. I don't have a chance to say yes. Well,
I mean, he grabbed the junk, but it could have, he could. It didn't go far. It didn't go further. And he could control that. Whereas, okay, are we going to say if Angelina Jolie and Harvey Weinstein are in a room together, can she fight him off? I don't think so. Or in these other situations when it's a woman, it's a little bit different, man. Terry Crews was going to be in control of that situation no matter what. So
a tiny bit.
So answer this. So if one of your relatives, one of your female women relatives said, some dude grabbed me or whatever, would you just be like, oh, it just happened that one time? Like, why are you still talking about that? That was just that once. No,
man, when it's a woman, when it's a man doing this to a woman, that's one thing. That's one thing, and that's not like, oh, this is a one-time thing. That's not that. But I could totally understand if they don't want to talk. I'm not going to bring it up. Like, if my female relative had been assaulted by some dude, I'm definitely not going to ask her at the next Christmas party, like, hey, let's talk about that time. Right, I can get that's an uncomfortable thing, but this dude, like, because
he's just saying it's weird for a dude who can defend himself to constantly be talking about it as if he were victimized, but he could have done something.
Exactly.
I understand what he's saying. The point I'm trying to make is it shouldn't matter if it's a man or a woman who is being abused. I think that's the point. That's why he's talking about it, is he's trying to be an advocate for this, to say this doesn't just happen to women. Of course, we acknowledge that it happens to women more, and women speak up about it more, but I think he's trying to be an advocate just to talk about it, to bring it to awareness, to say, look, this happens. If this can happen to me, this big buff black dude, this can happen to anybody. This can happen to your son. This can happen to your daughter. This can happen to your mama. So I think he's just trying to put it out there that this is happening and we need to talk about it.
I got no problem with the initial, like, this is what's happening, let's talk about it. I just don't have a problem with the repeated. I have a problem with the repeated, constantly, ever since then, keep talking about, like, okay, he went and testified in front of the Senate or whatever about this thing. He did that. I mean, that's a thing. I mean, on top of it coming out and having this big, roll out Twitter, making it a big story, then he went to, Congress and testified about this and that, all these things like that. Okay, at that point, it's like, man, I'm not saying that was too far, but at that point, it's kind of like, okay, you made your point here, man. But it's also, he's kind of the weird dude to talk about.
Well, technically, he's the poster boy right now of men's sexual abuse.
Which is weird, because he was never going to be abused. He was never going to.
Well, he was assaulted.
He was not assaulted.
Yeah, what are you talking about? He was assaulted. The dude grabbed him. In his
no other dudes is going to come out and say it happened.
I played high school football. I seen much worse than this dude on dude that weren't gay. High school football, man. By black dudes. It was a kosher? No, man. But the dude was gonna live, man. Come on, this dude. It's all right, man. But just stop. I'm just tired of hearing about it, man. And plus, it's not helping his career. I don't think it's helping his career, man. Just like let it go, man. Like who wants to hear it? Like all people think about Terry Crews now is like he's the dude that got touched and won't stop talking about it, man. Just let it go, man. Stand on you got a good career. You've done good things. You're funny. Stick with that, man.
I think that's the thing that.
Did you just tell him to shut up and dribble?
People tell women all the time. Like the same thing you're saying right now. Like that's what women hear all the time. Like, oh, just, forget about it. Quit talking about it. It just happened 20 years ago. Why are you talking about that still? And so it's like, and now for him, it's even amplified because we have this idea of masculinity. Like I said, I'm the same way. When I first read that story, I'm like, I would have stolen it. Like that's not even. I'm not saying I'm not one of those guys or whatever, because I definitely am. But I think he's just trying to be an advocate. And when you see, if a mother loses her son to a drunk driver, she goes on for the rest of her life speaking out against drunk driving. When women are raped or assaulted, some of them dedicate their lives to trying to stop other women from getting raped or assaulted. So why is there a problem when Terry Crews is in this situation and says, look, I'm going to try to dedicate my resources to bring awareness, to stop this from happening to somebody else? Like, why are we so against him doing that? Like, let him do that. If you don't want to hear it, turn the channel.
He's got the right to. I'm just saying, like, man, just let it go. You didn't really get. There's levels to all of it, man. And I'm sorry, man. It is different between men and women. Again, man. Women, be heard. Speak your voice on all this stuff, and don't stop and tell dudes it ain't cool to do none of this stuff. Terry Crews, you didn't really get assaulted, man. You got a drunk dude touched you one time and try to hit you up, and you corrected him real quick, and you got the dude fired. You did all the things to him, man. That's it, man. No, you weren't like in a dungeon for a week, man. Just let it go, man. That's it, man.
The crazy thing is you're criticizing Terry Crews more than you're criticizing the dude who grabbed his genitals. Like that's the crazy thing about it. So it's the same thing as victim shaming. It's almost like when dudes tell women, oh, you shouldn't have been wearing that low top. It's your fault. You basically saying it's your fault that this other man grabbed your junk.
Look, once again, Ish is right, and again, this as I said, like in episode 3 of this podcast, this is all a long, slow. This podcast is just a long, slow descent for me to realize that I'm a Trump supporter. So that's where we're going, man.
I think the one thing is that if he thinks he's not gonna catch these jokes, like, come on, man. Like, everybody's gonna joke on you, and that's just what it is, and you just got to deal with it.
But that's what I don't get.
Because I think if he said like he were raped or something, I don't know, he might get jokes still. That's the sad part about society. Yeah. But, I mean, I commend the dude for coming out and saying it, because otherwise we would never know, because nobody would ever speak about that to anybody. Like, it might be something you tell your wife or your girlfriend, but you ain't finna tell nobody that some dude felt you up. Look, especially if you ain't still on him. You can't say that at the barbershop.
I commend the dude for coming out speaking. I just let it go, man. I don't think because he's so big and buff, like he's not the right, I don't know, he's not the right person for, like, if it was like a little skinny dude, I'd feel more empathy, I guess. But like this dude, like, I'm like, man, you're straight. You can take care of yourself in any situation. I'm not worried about it. I think you'll be fine, man. So I'm like, okay, whatever, man. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. I'm trash. I've said this.
No, and I mean that's a big reason why. But at the same time, again, if he would have swung on dude, then we'd be saying he got shot by the cops because they told him to put his hands up, and he reached like he was reaching for something. Really, he was grabbing his junk like, oh, this hurts, and they thought he was reaching for a gun. Right. Now they shot him in the back. So it's like a no-win situation. For me, I don't have a problem with it. He's trying to advocate to bring this out to light more. I have no problem with that whatsoever. But like Ryan said, I mean, the jokes are going to come, and as a public persona, as a celebrity, you're going to get some of that. I just feel like he's like,
especially from a comedian.
Yeah, instead of joking back, I'm going to just hit him with this, I'm going to just hit him back with this serious stuff.
I would like to see them get in the ring, though, because Terry Crews, I want to see how Terry Crews would kill that dude. Straight up kill that dude.
It's not a question.
You could bring DL Hughley and the dude that tried to molest him in the ring at the same time, and they still get killed. And hey, Terry Crews definitely on the HGH. I hate to tell y'all fellas, but Terry Crews on the HGH heavy. That ain't natural, man. That dude,
he don't play sports. But he don't play sports. Him and his wife got like what was they doing? I saw them on something the other day when I walked in the room. Dude was on Bachelor, like they was exercising. Oh, he getting that money. So he getting that money.
He getting that money, but he needs that money.
It's working out.
It's working out for him. Man. I'm just letting you know, man. That she probably.
His wife was on that too. Yeah. That's our alarm. Time to end the podcast because it's 10 o'clock. So that's why we don't normally end the podcast on a serious note.
Right.
but that's okay. I thought it was gonna be more jokes, but then when we really looked at it, no, not really the time to joke. So our bad, people. Shout out to the listeners for sticking with us all this time. We should be back on a regular schedule here coming up. Yeah. And if y'all want to, if the listeners would like to find us or share us, where can they find us, Ishmael?
Yo, you can hit us up on Instagram or Twitter at Black Delegates. There's an underscore between Black and Delegates. If you have any questions, comments, show suggestions, you can email them to us at theblackdelegatespod@gmail.com. We also have a Facebook page. You can hit us up on Facebook. Paul. Oh, I guess the individuals, if you want to follow Paul, hit him at BoxWinePoppy on Twitter. If you want to follow Ryan, he is at The Black Ryan. If you want to follow me, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at IshCreates. That's ISH Creates. A little bit out of practice because it's been a while since we've been on. Paul, if people want to help out the show, what can they do?
First of all, subscribe to that Patreon. Give $100 to Ryan so he can tell you that crazy story that he told us.
Or pay me $50. But cash also, at me $50, and I'll tell you without him knowing.
Yo, give me $2.50. I'll tell y'all right now, and I'll name names. But no, man, just rate us and review us, and hit subscribe. That's all we want you to do, man.
Yep. Ryan, any last words?
Yep. I want y'all to really think about this and think about it hard. We all know good and well Scooby-Doo was black. It's kind of random, but me and Paul talked about it earlier. Scooby-Doo, definitely black. Scrappy-Doo, definitely black. Think about it. So that's where we're going to leave you at.
That's obvious. I don't even know who would question that. The bigger thing is I feel like Shaggy was black too. He was just albino.
Yeah, Shaggy,
So we say. So hold on. But by bringing Shaggy in, you're basically saying that Scooby's black and a pothead, and Shaggy's black and a pothead, right?
That's racist.
Because they definitely were pot smokers. Why do you think every time they split up, it was always Scooby and Shaggy go this
Everybody
way? Because they were
knows that.
smoking. And Fred and woman Daphne, they were
Actually
they
working.
were on some Roger Stone swinger stuff.
Racist. That was racist-ish.
No, they were on some swinger stuff over there. Roger Stone type stuff over there, man. Look
As
that
the
thing
movie
up.
say,
There.
Velma was she wanted to holler at Shaggy, so that's a fact. It's been retconned.
Please,
It's been
she was
retconned.
always with Fred.
No, Velma. Daphne is the girl you talking about. But anyway,
Y'all see that?
We gonna let y'all
tattoo
go.
Roger
No,
Stone
Velma
got
too,
of
man.
Nixon on his back. That is crazy.
who?
Yo, man, look up Roger Stone and swinging. That's all I'm gonna say. People,
do it.
look up Roger Stone and
Don't do
swinging.
it.
Okay.
Do it.
Don't do
You
it.
will be
You're fired.
amazed.
All right. See
All
y'all
right,
next
let's
week.
Get out of here. Peace.
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 Stop.